host of the Shit Doctor. Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another random horror review. I am your host Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yeah, episode 53 is here, and I've got one here from Anchor Bay Entertainment Canada, and this is one that I actually knew absolutely nothing about. Apparently, it came out in 2013. It just got released on home media in 2016, and it is a film called House of the Witchdoctor. Yes, House of the Witchdoctor, starring Bill Moseley, Leslie Easterbrook, and it actually has a special appearance in here from Diane Thorne, which actually blew my mind. I didn't even realize that until I was watching the film and I saw her and I was like, who is that old lady? Who is that old lady? Because she looks a lot different than the Ilsa films. And so I grabbed the case and I looked and I was like, oh, Diane Thorne, crazy. Yeah, I hadn't seen her in a film in such a long time, so that's pretty cool, man. They went out and grabbed some pretty big names for this film and stuff, but basically the synopsis of the film here is about a girl named Leslie. She is very kind of distraught, and because it is the 1-year anniversary of her boyfriend's death. Her boyfriend was killed 1 year earlier, very violently and stuff, and she's just dealing with it. She just cannot get over it. So basically she gathers up like 4 of her friends and she heads out to her parents' house where they live in this isolated, huge mansion, you know, way out in the country type deal. Basically for a weekend of like R&R, you know, partying, getting away and things like that. So once they get to their parents' house, which her parents are Bill Moseley and Leslie Easterbrook, her parents take off. You know, they just kind of leave them alone, let them do their own thing and things like that. But before they get there, we actually have a run-in with this guy that just got out of jail, this, you know, lifetime criminal, where he's picked up his like kind of drug-addicted, really annoying buddy, and they're just going out on a criminal heist, man. They're just going crazy and shit, just doing a whole pile of bad shit. Anyways, they have a run-in with this guy. Later on, they're at the house doing their own thing, and of course these criminals find their house, they break in, and then all hell breaks loose. They start to like do bad things to them and shit like that. And then all of a sudden, you know, the house isn't exactly what it appears to be, and it doesn't go so well for these criminals and pretty much everyone else inside of it. So that is the synopsis of the film. I'll just leave it right there. Now my thoughts on this one. Well, we'll start with the things that I do like about the film. I did like how the filmmaker actually went out and grabbed some of these big names. You know, it's always nice to see these big names in films where they're not just in it for like 2 seconds. Give and take, you know, Bill Moseley and Leslie Easterbrook and, you know, Diane Thorne aren't in the film a whole lot, but they actually have pretty decent roles, which is kind of nice. And I actually think Bill Moseley does a pretty good job. His acting is probably the best in the film. You know, I'll get to that in a minute, but yeah, he's actually not so bad in this film. I did like the fact that they used practical effects in this, and you know, that's always nice to see. Even though there's not a whole lot of blood and gore in this film, the effects are practical. Some of the kills are pretty mean-spirited. I did like that. I like that about these type of films, because really this one is just unforgiving. You know, it's about these criminals that are doing nasty shit like raping and killing and doing brutal shit, so you know, of course you're gonna have some kind of unforgiving kills and you know, things like that. But I did enjoy that about the film. You know, the setting, I like the house that it was in. You can just tell it was like this really awesome house and things like that. But, you know, that's really about it. You know, let's get to the things I didn't like about this one. First off, we'll start with the acting. The acting is fucking atrocious in this film. We're talking like huge donkey dick acting, man. Just really bad. Pretty much all the you know, the young kids, you know, the 20-something-year-old kids, like Leslie's friends and stuff, are all really atrocious. There's this one girl in this film, her name's Summer Bills, really hot, but just her acting was just beyond brutal. I mean, everybody was just bad. The back and forth, really bad. And that brings me to the dialogue. Now, the dialogue in this film is just atrocious too, especially between the criminals. You know, when they're raping girls and things like that, and you know, pushing around guys, they're like, I'm gonna get you, bitch, and he's like talking to a guy, and you know, you can tell that the dialogue was kind of written for these uneducated characters, but at the same time it's super annoying, like, oh, I'm gonna fuck you, you're gonna get it real hard and shit. Like, it's really, really bad. Like, all the back and forth between all the characters, like, it's just really, really bad. Some of the characters are just straight up cliche too. Of course, you got this one character that's, you know, he's a very church-going guy, and his girlfriend is, you know, of course, accepting who he is, and you know, she's willing to wait to have sex and things like that. So you got that going on, and then of course it just cuts into this couple who are just fucking their brains out and things like that. So a lot of the characters are cliche, but you know, the actual characters themselves, besides the criminals, aren't that annoying. They're just really, they're characters that you don't care about. You don't get any backstory to these characters, and you don't really care really what happens to them. It's kind of a shame because some of the kills are quite mean-spirited, and you know, if you did care about these characters, you'd probably get into the film and have a little more emotion with it too, which is not the case. But yeah, the acting just really, really atrocious in this film. Even Leslie Easterbrook is actually really bad in this film too. Diane Thorne's pretty bad too. Which leads me into the script, man. Now, the script in this movie is really poorly done. It's really poorly done. You know, the setup to it is, it's pretty slow. It's kind of generic and things like that. And then when the third act hits, it kind of switches gears completely. This cover is a little misleading, and the title's also a dead giveaway to what the film is. So all in all, it's just not great. I mean, the third act happens, and you're just like, okay, and all this shit's going on. You're like, yeah, okay, it's fucking stupid. It's actually really, really stupid. And I usually don't use the adjective stupid very often when I'm reviewing a film, because it sounds kind of moronish, really, but it is. This movie is actually just stupid. Yeah, I did not really care for this film whatsoever, like, especially the third act was just horrible, horrible. I was expecting more of like a slasher film, and I wasn't disappointed from what I was expecting to what I got. It was just a bad movie overall, and there's not really a whole lot more to say about this one. Fortunately, I didn't even care about the music in the film either. But man, the acting in this film, whoo! Really, really bad. Mixed with that shit dialogue and that shit script, really shitty. Poor Bill Moseley. He's always in such bad films. I really like Bill Moseley, but unfortunately he just manages to do the shittiest films possible. It's really, really bad, but yeah, and you know, a lot of people even say Bill Moseley's not the greatest actor in the world, blah, blah, blah. He is probably the best thing in the film, like I did say, so. Yeah, I don't know, man. Of course you got a little bit of titties in here, which is always nice. It really doesn't help out the film, and yeah, I think I'm just going to leave it right there. If I had to rate this film, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. And I'm going to give it for the fact that they went out and grabbed some of these big name actors. And, you know, they did practical effects. They did try with this film. And, you know, they weren't trying to make a bad film. It just came out really shitty, which is unfortunate. And, you know, but, you know, another thing actually I did mention is that they played it pretty straightforward. Like I said, it's very mean-spirited, but they didn't actually throw in a lot of random jokes and things like that. It's very serious because the characters are there for a serious reason. They're there to mourn Leslie's boyfriend's death, the year anniversary of her death and stuff, of his death. And, you know, I kind of did like that fact that it was played serious. It wasn't goofy. It wasn't meant to be a comedy and stuff. It just didn't work for me at all. So, yeah, 3 out of 10, House of the Witchdoctor. This cover, man, super misleading. Yeah, anyways, guys, that is going to do it for episode 53 here on my Random Horror Review series. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will check you guys in episode 54, which is coming up real soon. And as usual, guys, peace! Movie quote time, baby, baby! We'll keep you on the edge of your feet. Horror Movie Uncut. Fuck that.